Hi everyone, this is Dango here from Rocky Valley server. In this video, we are going to talk about the new troops that comes into Chinese Langrisser server after the 2.0 major update. So before I start, I want to show you guys that my friend just got this Tiara's skin, which is super cute and fit her well. I think this is probably the best skin for her. Hopefully we can get these skins, sometimes in global server soon. So that I probably will drop some money to get it because I just really love this skin. And so let's start with the real topic, which is the new troops. So let's start with infantry troop. We have two interesting infantry troop, which is this Gizlov's construct. So this can only be used by characters related with Gizlov, and which is Sigma, Gizlov, and Reinforced. And this troop is very strong. It is a melee troop that can attack with a range attack. Basically, if your Sigma is launching a far range attack like from 5 spots away, this troop can attack with Sigma. And when it is dealing damage, the damage dealt increased by 30%, which is a significantly, I think it's a significantly high amount of damage, like increase in damage dealt, which makes this troop the best troop for Sigma. For Gizlov, I believe it can also be a good choice, but but Gizlov can also use Hellfire Archer, which is also pretty good. So you can select between these two. But for Sigma, this is definitely the best troop that he can use. So if you are a Sigma user, definitely try to get this units to level 10 as soon as possible. The other troop is the Queen's Guard. This troop is kind of interesting, but I don't think you will actually use this troop a lot in Apex Arena or in PvE. When being attacked, the troops range +1, and then it aids the attack, and it reduces the magic attack. So if you are using like Freya as your main tank, maybe you can use this troop. But other than that, I didn't see a good fit for this troop. And then let's jump to the Lancer troop. The first Lancer troop is a Crystal Lancer. What this Crystal Lancer does is that it will, at the end of each turn, the troop will heal by 40% at maximum level, and then when being attacked by a magic attack, it will reflect the magic attack damage by, I believe it is 40% at maximum level. And this can be carried by Bailey and Lading. I think it's kind of an interesting PvE troop to use for Lading. For Bailey, I have no idea if Bailey should use this troop or not. So Bailey is not currently a very useful tank in Apex Arena in Chinese server. So we will see how this goes in the Chinese server in Season 3. But I think this troop is not super good for PvP content because it makes your it reduces some. I mean, it reflects some magic attack damage, but it has nothing to do with AOE or physical damage. So I think it has like very strong limitation. And but the other troop for Lancer is very interesting, which is Tree Guard, and this Tree Guard is amazing. So basically, the troop, the first effect is that the healing effect received by troop increased by, I believe it is 40% or 50% at max level, and then at full health points, the attack defense and magic defense all increase by 50% at maximum level. This is a very significantly high amount, and this can be used by Landius and Amelia. I think Amelia should be a very interesting tank in Season 3, and Landius definitely, situationally, if you are, fighting with Leon or some other, cavalry units, this troop should be one of the, best option for Landius. It should be the best Lancer option for Landius at least. So let's then talk about cavalry units. So the first cavalry unit is Unicorn, and this is amazing. This troop is just amazing. So this troop is a cavalry unit that deal magical damage, and then the And then when one of the limitation of using carrier units is that carrier units have a huge limitation on mobility in like water tail or mountain area or forest tail, and these Unicorn just ignore all these tail effect. So basically, you will not have mobility reduction in forest or on mountain. So this is very very good, and it deal magic damage, and then um, yeah, and then um, when fighting in forest, mountain, or grassland, the attack and the magic defense increase by 30%. So this is, I think, one of the best units for Yulia and Angelina. I mean, if you really use Scout, it is definitely the best unit for him. But I mean, nobody use Scout, and Deerheart is still not useful in season 2. So Deerheart, although it is a very strong, unit for Deerheart also, but Deerheart's damage dealt is very very limited. So we will see if Deerheart can get a very strong awakening skill. But right now, this unicorn is mostly relevant for Yulia and Angelina. The other troop is Scorpion, and this unit currently have some trouble. So this is a cavalry unit that has some specialty usage in Desert Tail, and but the problem for this troop is that the mobility, like it is still limited by the mobility on the Desert Tail. We know that cavalry units, they have strong restriction on mobility in Desert Tail, and although in Desert Tail this troop can aid the crit chance and attack, but the mobility is significantly limited. So this troop is kind of a joke in Chinese server. Nobody use it. Leon and Burn can use it, but really there is no point to use this troop because the effect like attack increase and crit chance increase is effective in Desert Tail, but then you have like huge mobility issue there. So it is kind of tricky to use it. On this they can fix. I believe this troop shouldn't have any mobility reduction in Desert Tail, but right now it still has this limitation on mobility, so we will see if this will get fixed or not. But right now this is kind of a boring troop that nobody use. And then for flyer and like aquatic units, so the first unit is actually tight elf, and this is a very interesting unit. It still deal magic damage, so we can see like lots of new units, they started to deal magic damage. And then the effect is that when battling in water, the troop damage, the physical troop damage decreased by I believe at maximum level is 40%, and then the attack will increase by 30%. But the problem is that if you check the unit who can use it, it is actually greatly limited. Shelfonio can use it, but Shelfonio has no method to create this water environment by herself. So it is kind of hard for her to use that. So this can be an interesting unit, but we will see who can actually use them. Maybe in the future they will release some strong character who can use that, but right now it has no usage at all. The other units, which is wing, yeah, this is like a wing flyer, yeah, a steel wing flyer. So this steel wing flyer is very interesting, and it already becomes the kind of the best troop for Elven, and maybe situationally strong for Lanfont. So what it does is that when attacking, so basically troops attack increase by I believe is 40% at maximum level, and then when being attacked by range attack, troops defense and magic defense all increase by 40%. So this just makes Elven can survive from magic attack, and definitely survive from like assassins as well. And this this attack increase is very decent. So this is a very strong troop that can be used by Elven and Lanfond. The other troop that we are going to talk about is this assassin troop, which is this a very very interesting Goblin Raider. So this Goblin Raider can increase the critic chance of the troop by 40% at maximum level, and then if it launches a critic attack, it will steal one of the buff from the enemy and then apply one strong debuff. So yeah, and who can use that? Zareda can use it, and Cherry can use it. So right now, I didn't really see people use this troop a lot. I believe Cherry should be able to use it with the flyer attack, because the current trouble for Cherry is that if she use like shadow attack in like as a flyer unit, the troop that she carry cannot attack with her. This Goblin Raider has 5 mobility, so which fits well with Cherry, and then like they can attack with Cherry when she uses Shadow attack. So this can be a very interesting option for Cherry, but yeah, it is still kind of hard for her to to really be useful in Apex Arena, just because I mean, this troop has a skill to increase the quick chance, but it didn't has anything to do with damage dealt or attack. So the damage from Cherry is still limited, and this is 5 mobility units, and so it still has limitation. If you are like moving in a mountain area or forest area. So yeah, so it could be very interesting for Cherry. I don't think you will ever use that for Zareda, because I mean Zareda just has better troops for her. Yeah, so this can be an interesting unit for Cherry, but in Chinese server at least, still not a lot of people trying to use her in PvP. Could be interesting in PvE though. The other unit is this dwarf sniper. And this sniper has a very interesting skill that will change the scale from like other effect to a land scale effect. So I actually still struggling to understand what it does. But if you are but this Lavmata already cast land scale, and this sniper can increase land scale damage dealt by I believe is 15% at maximum level. So Lavmata with this troop can actually deal a very significant high damage, especially to flying units. And yeah, this is kind of so basically right now this unit is only good for Lavmata. In the future we will see if there is like better characters who can carry this unit. But Lavmata with this unit can deal like 10,000 or a little bit more than 10,000 damage to flying units. And yeah, this 10,000 is definitely the main hero plus troop. So it is kind of, I mean, it can increase the damage significantly, but then Lavmata can still not one-shot enemy with these troops. So it's not still not super strong, and it is only works for Lavmata. So right now nobody basically not much people are working on these 2 units in Chinese server. And finally the last class is Mage class and Demon class, and here we have a very interesting crystal wizard. And what this crystal wizard does is that so first of all, the normal attack deals magic attack, and then at the end of the action the troops' health points will recover by 40% at maximum level, and then when it is attacked by a physical attack, the troop will reflect the damage received by, I believe, is 40% at maximum level. So yeah, it is kind of interesting, but I really don't know who is relevant to use that. I mean, although it can reflect the damage, but it is still kind of it is not bulky enough to let your characters survive by like assassin or like by other like characters. So yeah, it is an interesting unit that can reflect physical damage, but if you think about who can use them, I can't think Ritual and Bozo will be able to find a situation to use them. Yeah, so basically it is an interesting troop, but right now nobody use them. And the other troop is this spider, spider elf, dark spider elf. So it is also a very interesting troop. I believe it is super good for Glory, Grilled and Layla. Yeah, Grilled and Layla. And this is a 5 mobility troop, and it deals magic attack. It deals magic damage, and then when you when you launch attack, you have I think at maximum level it should be 80% or like 100%. I need to double check, but yeah, at maximum level it can reduce the enemy mobility by 2, and then it will decrease the magic defense by 20%, and this is actually before the attack. So basically, if you are using that with Grilled and Layla, before attack, they will have a chance to reduce the mobility of the enemy, and then it will reduce the magic defense by 20%, and then you will launch the attack. So this is kind of a very interesting unit to have, but I mean, uh, and the second troop in this demon and mage training ground is this dark sniper elf, and it can be used by Egbert, Geld, and Layla, and then Sonia. So it is kind of an interesting troop to have. So before the attack, so these units will deal magic damage, and before attack, it will reduce the enemy mobility by 2, and it will reduce the magic defense of the enemy by 20%. So yeah, this can be a very decent troop for Guild and Layla, and yeah, so yeah, but still you have to think about the balance between using these units and then these sorcerers, because this 35 damage increase is probably in most cases more relevant than decreasing magic defense by 20%. But in PvE content though, this can be very relevant. But in PvP, I still think maybe if you are really trying to decrease the mobility of the other units, and if you think the decrease in magic defense is very important for the follow-up attack, then this can be a very good option. But I think in most cases you probably are going to stick with sorcerers with Grot and Layla. Yeah. And the last units we have here is the is what we have the this is the Forest Priest. So this Forest Priest is a very interesting unit. So still, the normal regular attack deals magic damage, and then the hero's healing effect will be increased by 15%, or yeah, 15% at maximum level, and then when your enemy when your hero cast any like supportive skill like heal or mass heal, or mass attack, it will have a 100% chance to dispel when debuff. So this is kind of a very interesting skill, and it can be used by these Shoujo Jessica and Vela. So I believe this can be a very relevant units to have in Apex Arena, especially Velas already have like mass heal, and so with that skill coupled with mass heal, he can like remove two debuffs in with this one skill. So this can be a very interesting skill to have. And yeah, so basically that's all about the new troops in Chinese server. Later I'm going to make another video about the new technologies in this in Chinese server. Besides all these new troops, we have all these different technologies, like new technologies, including a new set of core attack, defense, and health points in each of the training ground. So yeah, we will talk about this in a future video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.